Hello friends, welcome to Lukman IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 27th May 2021. Let us see which are the important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the important articles for mains purpose and for prelims purpose. Let us take overview of all these articles first. Imperious missteps. So the context of this editorial on page number 6, it is talking about the misadministration that is happening in Lakshadweep Islands or Union Territory, we can say. Okay, so what are the different measures being taken by the administrator appointed by the central government recently in December 2020? After that, so how it is creating problem for the residents of this Union Territory, and the analysis of all these aspects along with some demographic, socio-economic and geographical aspects of Lakshadweep Islands. Okay, next, the end of road for India's GST. So yes, now the GST Council meeting is being held. Okay, so shortly. Yes, so the context of the article is that one, and it is talking about how GST regime that was introduced in 2017 has failed to achieve its objectives. Okay, so which were these objectives? What is cooperative federalism, the principle, bedrock principle behind this GST regime, and then what are the problems and issues faced in recent times? Okay, all these aspects are covered here from polity and governance perspective and GS3 paper economic part. Then yes, we are having follow up on these rules that are being framed and implemented for regulation of social media in the country, right? So center seeks compliance report from intermediaries. So intermediaries, here it is talking about the social media companies, large social media companies. And now WhatsApp approaches Delhi High Court to challenge new IT rules. So yes, we are going to have follow up from governance perspective GS2 paper. In yesterday's lecture itself, we discussed the editorial regarding this implementation of IT rules under IT Act 2000. Okay. And our external affairs minister Jai Shankar met UN chief and discussed various issues like regarding the vaccine supply, along with that different international relations related issues like waiver at WTO agreement, TRIPS agreement for production and manufacturing of these vaccines and other COVID-19 related drugs. And yes, they also discussed other such issues like the coup that happened in the Myanmar, right? So all these aspects we are going to have follow up here in international relations perspective. Then prelims related development, won't allow dam across Kaveri. So this is the statement issued by Tamil Nadu government. So it is talking about the Mekadettu reservoir project. So this project is being implemented, or the dam is being built across Kaveri river in Karnataka. So the Tamil Nadu has been continuously objecting for building such kind of dam across Kaveri river. So what is important for us, from geography perspective, this dam across which river, all these aspects about this dam. Then cyclone Yas related development. Cyclone Yas made landfall in the northern Odisha, and some districts have been affected of Odisha as well as West Bengal now, right? And lastly, daily prelims MCQs that we are giving you for practice purpose on today's current affairs in the Hindu newspaper. Next, so yes, going into details of all these articles now. First article, yes, imperious missteps. So the context of this editorial on page number 6 is the misadministration being caused by the administrator of Union Territory of Lakshadweep. What are the problems being created through the various regulations, rules and regulations by the administrator in Union Territory? So yes, draft Lakshadweep Development Authority Regulation 2021. This is first problem. According to this regulation, it gives sweeping power to the administration to take over land and forcibly relocate people and propose harsh punishment to those who resist. So such kind of initiatives are undertaken through this regulation. Then consumption or sale of beef, a part of food habits of many on this island, could be an offence punishable by 7 years in prison. according to other regulation. Those who have more than 2 children cannot contest panchayat election. Then anyone could be held in prison without reason up to a year under new Gunda Act in place that has very low crime rate. Lakshadweep is having very low crime rate in India. We'll look into all the facts regarding Lakshadweep Islands. Yes, traditional livelihood of fishing communities has been impeded by mindless regulations that deny them access to coastlines. Their sheds on the coast areas have been demolished, saying they violated Coast Guard Act. And lastly, the dairy farms of or run by the government or administration have been shut. So this is how the impact of these regulations, rules by the administration on the livelihood of the people, fishing, dairy farming, right? Along with that, the alienation of land of the people and arbitrary implementation of these rules and regulations. This is impacting day-to-day life of the people. People are now protesting against such kind of regulations in that union territory. Let us analyze now all the issues. In the absence of any administrative rationale or public good in these blatantly arbitrary measures, there are fears of other motivations. Other motivations, like for example commercial motivation. Commercial motivations in a sense forcibly relocating the people and let's say taking their lands and giving that to the commercial entities for any other purpose like plantation or tourism activities, all these aspects. So commercial intentions can be there, motivations. There can be other political motivation also. For example, changing the demographic of the union territory or those islands. Largely about 90% of the population of this union territory, up to 95% of the population belong to Muslim community in the Lakshadweep, and there are some, let's say, concerns regarding political motivations of changing the demographic aspects of union territory also. Okay, along with that we have to understand that why such union territories were created in first place, like Andaman and Nicobar, then Pondicherry or Lakshadweep, because the protection to unique cultural and historical situation. Unique cultural and historical situation of their inhabitants, right? Like for example, there are indigenous people in Andaman and Nicobar, unique culture and we can say tradition, their way of life. If you are talking about Pondicherry, then there is some kind of French, Anglo-French culture is there or French culture is there, right? So to protect that, Pondicherry was created. Here also Lakshadweep, unique kind of culture and demographic aspects, composition is there to protect that. Lakshadweep Islands or was created as a union territory, right? So this is actually the motive to create union territories. Yes, there are other aspects like administrative aspects are also there. For example, Delhi declared as union territory, or recently Jammu Kashmir being declared as union territory, and Ladakh also, right? So but major aspects related to declaring any administrative unit or union territory as administrative unit is protection to unique cultural and historical situations. You can give example of Andaman and Nicobar, Pondicherry and then Lakshadweep Island. So center is inverting its responsibility to protect into license to interfere, and therefore there are, let's say, recently calls for recalling the administrator and reassure the islanders. Recently the group of activists, those who have written to we can say the central government to recall the administrator from that area. Okay, so what kind of question we can expect here? The rationale for carving out union territory as administrative unit is to protect the unique cultural and historical situations of their inhabitants. Examine the statement. Now why command examine is written here? Because you have to give the examples and or we can say arguments in favor of this statement. Yes, to protect the cultural and historical situations. For example, Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Pondicherry, you give this example. And then you can say that in addition to this, there are some administrative and strategic aspects involved in declaring any union territory as an administrative unit. And then you can give the example of Union Territory of Delhi, then recently carved out, or we can say bifurcated state of Jammu Kashmir into Jammu Kashmir Union Territory and Ladakh Union Territory. You give these examples in the end. And lastly, you can say as conclusion or way forward that surely such kind of administration should look into, or we can say, protection to the indigenous people or those people living there by the central government. Okay, so there is some kind of unique administrative setup for union territories, and the local representative setup should be there. All these aspects should be understood here. There should not be centralization of power, rather there should be decentralized democracy in union territories also. Like this you can give the way forward. Fine. Okay, so GS2 paper polity part. Now some demographic, geographical, socio-cultural aspects of Lakshadweep. First of all, geographical location of Lakshadweep, located in the Arabian Sea, right? So off the coast of Kerala. Right, so location, you can see here the location, largely all these islands are located as a group here, Lakshadweep Islands, and then there is 9-degree channel, and the south of this 9-degree channel there are Minicoy Islands. There are Minicoy Islands. So 9-degree channel separates Minicoy Islands from the mainland Lakshadweep Islands. Right, and the capital territory is Karavati Island, the largest, one of the largest island in that group of islands. Right, so these islands are formed as, or we can say, coral islands. They are actually atolls. There are 3 types of coral reefs, right? Fringing reef, barrier reef and atolls. Fringing reef, barrier reef and atolls. Basically, Lakshadweep Islands are atolls, the coral islands, while Andaman and Nicobar are largely of volcanic origin. Right. So yes, you need to remember the important group of island. And now, after understanding this geographic aspect, let us try to understand some demographic aspect and then socio-economic aspect. So on page number 7, when there is data given by Hindu analysis team regarding Lakshadweep Island, this diagram is there. So let us try to understand. Share of tribal population according to 2011 census, Lakshadweep has highest ST population, 94.8%, that is around 95% of its population is scheduled tribes. Then percentage of land under forest and tree cover, 97% of the land is covered by forest trees, highest in India. Okay, according to, let's say, percentage of area we are talking here, geographical area. Share of Muslims, over 96.5% of the population is Muslim, highest in India. So this is demographic aspect. Then beef consumption, 65% of the inhabitants consume beef, second highest in India. Then reported murders per 1 lakh population, 0. 0 murders were recorded in 2017. Basically, we are saying here that it is having one of the lowest crime rate in the country, Lakshadweep Islands. Peaceful people, you can see here, alcohol consumption prevalence among the men, only about 7% of men consume alcohol, lowest in India. Then BPL population, below poverty line, about only 3% of people lives below national poverty line, the second lowest in India. This is how we have to understand the islands are pretty much prosperous, progressive, and there are less antisocial elements located in that region. The demographic aspects, forest, all these things are there. So instead of, let's say, such kind of arbitrary use of power, the government should focus on promoting eco-development or ecologically sustainable development in that region, or we can say union territory, islands, and promotion of, we can say, forestry, then the palm trees. Yes, coconut is very important plantation crop of Lakshadweep, and one of the best coconut coconuts are from Lakshadweep Islands. Okay, and we have to also promote the fishing in those islands. So all these aspects you should be aware about this. In GS1 paper, what we are expecting in GS1 paper, geography aspect here, development of island territories of India. Development of island territories of India. So you need to aware about development aspects of both group of island, Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep, and both have unique let's say climate also. Then we can say that economic activities, the demographic proportion or population composition, all these aspects are different, and therefore we can say that the development approach should be also different. This is how we have to understand this basic aspect about Lakshadweep Island. Right. Now moving on to next article, the end of road for India's GST. Now this article, yes, context it is having the issues in GST regime. Basically the 43rd meeting of Goods and Services Tax Council is to be held on 28th May. So we can expect many such articles to be written this week in the Hindu newspaper. So we are going to analyze this GST regime from time to time, now this week or next week. So yes, this GST regime was introduced in 2017 through Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, and the indirect taxes, the uniform indirect tax regime through this goods and services tax was introduced. Earlier the indirect tax of central government and state governments were different, and now under GST they are merged here, and uniform taxation system for indirect taxes is brought through GST. Now GST was supposed to be pinnacle for India's throttled economy to deliver enormous economic efficiency gains, improve tax buoyancy and collections, boost GDP growth, usher in greater formalization of economy. This is the aim, objectives of GST, bringing GST regime. Cooperative federalism was introduced to justify transition to GST in 2017. Cooperative federalism, though it is inbuilt in our constitution itself, the division of power among the center and states, center-state relations, be it political, administrative, financial, legislative, to some extent there is cooperation required. And yes, cooperative federalism, especially the present government, NDA government since 2014, is continuously pressing on this principle, for be it through establishment of this Niti Aayog, and abolished earlier planning commission, and later on the finance commission had devolved more and more financial resources to the states. If we are talking about recommendation by 14th finance commission, 42% of the proportion of divisible pool goes to states. So to some extent all these aspects are being considered as part of cooperative federalism, including this GST. Why? Because in GST states are given more power, be it voting power, or we can say that their say is more here, even in GST council. Earlier we talked about the basics of GST council from prelims polity part, right? So when this GST meeting, council meeting was announced by our finance minister. So we will not go into details of that GST council here, but yes, you can go into basics about that. In recent edition of M. Lakshmikant book, GST council basics are given there. Okay, cooperative federalism is not only limited to fiscal federalism. This concept you have to understand. Many times their narrow interpretation is done regarding cooperative federalism. Cooperative federalism is not limited only to center-state finance relation or fiscal federalism, rather it spills over the political federalism, administrative federalism, governance federalism between states and center. Now this is very important statement. We can expect even question directly by giving this statement. Why we are saying this? Because we cannot have the fiscal federalism unless and until there is cooperation in the administrative areas, governance areas and political areas. Why the writer is saying that? Because At present, suppose if we are talking about this meeting of GST Council that is going to happen, there will be 31 representatives from different states and union territories. Among these 31, 17 are from the ruling dispensation and its allies, that is BJP and its allies, and remaining are from the opposition parties or regional parties from the states. So to some extent, they are going to oppose many such, let's say, proposals by the central government in that meeting. Along with that, in recent times, there is some kind of deterioration in the relations between central and state, be it for the vaccination policy, national vaccination policy, how states are, let's say, being left on its own, especially when we are talking about the vaccine procurement from the domestic and international markets. And the other aspects, like earlier, last year we talked about the GST compensation issue, right? So many states feel that there is some kind of mistrust now created between center and state. Mistrust in terms of the financial powers of states. When they gave up these powers, they expected certain benefits from this GST regime, and now they are feeling that it has not benefited to them. So that is mistrust, or trustworthiness is now lacking. So what are the problems at present? The major problem at present is erosion of trust and trustworthiness between states and center. Unless and until this trust is built, especially by central government coming forward and building this trust with the states, there will not be effective fiscal federalism through this GST regime. The other problems like multiple rate structure, high tax slabs, the complexity of tax filings, all these technical aspects still exist, and which is making problematic to improve tax buoyancy and collections, or we can say that boost GDP growth and greater formation of economy. So to some extent, these are the technical issues, and yes, there is long process for implementation of GST. In future, these will be realized. However, we were expecting the fruits of these reforms in immediately after 2-3 years, but this is not happening. Along with that, COVID-19 pandemic and economic contraction, all these aspects are reducing the GST collections and the realization of that, making central government more burdensome for paying the states for the compensation of this GST loss, right, or the tax loss they are facing, revenue loss they are facing. Okay, so all these issues are involved here, and let us see or have follow up what happens on this in this meeting, GST Council meeting on 28th May, and we'll have follow up on this aspect. What kind of question we can expect here? Again, this statement, cooperative federalism goes beyond fiscal federalism. It also entails cooperative, political, administrative and governance federalism between states and center. Discuss. Right. So yes, we can expect such kind of statement question, and you need to bring such a discussion in your answer. Next. Yes, Jaishankar, UN chief, discuss ramping up supply of JAPs. So yes, context of this article, it is our external affairs minister met with UN chief, and yes, he discussed various issues. For example, discussions included subject of ramping up of global supply of COVID-19 vaccines, including WTO initiative sponsored by India and South Africa to waive intellectual property protection for vaccines and other related products. They also discussed climate change, including ISA, International Solar Alliance, and Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Both are initiatives of India at international level in climate change aspect or area. Mr. Jaishankar highlighted India's priorities for its presidency of Security Council. So India is going to be the president of or assume the presidency of UN Security Council from August 2021. This included discussion of events on maritime security and on technology and peacekeeping missions. Afghanistan and protecting gains of the last 2 decades were also discussed at the meeting. The two leaders also discussed the situation in Myanmar. All these issues were discussed. You need to be aware about these major issues at present concern to India in international relations, right? So question can be there in GS2 paper from international relations syllabus part in this area, because whatever the international issues that are happening, they have some kind of bearing on India's interest, they will be asked in our examination. Okay. Next. Yes, we are having follow up on these rules. Which are these rules? Yes, in February, the government has come up with the Information Technology Guidelines for Intermediaries and Digital Media Ethics Code Rules 2021. And these rules were implemented from yesterday, 26th May. So 25th May was last date to implement the provisions of these rules, and they are to be enforced from 26th May. So the government had sought compliance report from these intermediaries now. Okay, so yes, along with that, the WhatsApp instant messaging app WhatsApp has approached Delhi High Court challenging central government's new information technology rules 2021. These are these rules. This includes requirement for social media platforms to compulsorily enable identification of first originator of the information in India upon the government or court order. So what is the argument provided by the company here, WhatsApp company? It says that it impinges on the its users' right to privacy and freedom of speech and expression. Yes, to break the end-to-end encryption on its messaging service as well as privacy principles underlying it, and infringes upon fundamental rights to privacy and free speech of its citizens. And yes, who use the WhatsApp to communicate with each other, right? So these are the concerns, these are the arguments provided by WhatsApp, and we will see in future what will be the arguments of the central government and the verdict by the High Court, Delhi High Court, right? So this is going to have some kind of, let's say again, the tussle between the central government and the social media platform. There is still lack of clarity on both parties here, whether they will be, the deadline will be extended, or whether these intermediaries are complying with these rules or not. And that's why we are watching on this social media platform itself that people are very much concerned about whether these platforms will be shut down or something like that, right? So we'll have follow up on all these issues which are going on in future also. Won't allow dam across Kaveri River, Tamil Nadu. Basically, it is talking about Mekadetu project. What is this Mekadetu project? Yes, this is being built across Kaveri River in Karnataka. You can see the location, two states, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. When the Kaveri River just enters Tamil Nadu, so in that region, this Mekadetu project, basically this is the dam being built to create a reservoir to supply the drinking water to Bangalore city and Ramanagaram district, besides generating power. Okay, so you need to be aware that Mekadetu project is for drinking water supply as well as hydroelectricity production. Along with that, it is being built across Kaveri River. To some extent, some environmental concerns are there. For example, 63% of the forest area that will be submerged is in Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary. So the approval from Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change will be very crucial for such project. Okay, so yes, from geography aspect, you need to be aware about these basics, right? Okay. Yes, lastly, cyclone as follow up. The very severe cyclonic storm made landfall in south of Balasore in Odisha, and also impacted on some of the districts of West Bengal. Therefore, National Disaster Response Forces and army personnel joined the rescue and relief operations. So we have to understand that whenever there is cyclone there is disaster management cycle in process, right? So yes, the preparedness or preparation phase is there, and when the disaster is struck, then there is rescue and relief operations are there, and then there will be rehabilitation aspects of disaster management will be there. So all these are actually elements of this disaster management cycle. You need to aware about these elements in disaster management syllabus part in GS3 paper. Okay, yes. So lastly, some prelims, practice prelims MCQs that we are providing. For example, this Make-A-D2 project, about this project, and then we also talked about the basics of geography aspect. These such kind of questions are being already asked by UPSC on basics of physical geography, India's physical geography. So try to solve these MCQs. You can download this PDF document from the description of this video. Along with that, we are providing model answer to all these MCQs and some other practice prelims MCQs on daily basis on our Telegram channel, and also daily current affairs for prelims examination. So to receive such kind of important resource material, you can join the Telegram channel of Lukman IAS. The link is provided again in description of this video. Along with that, many such informative and resourceful videos are being provided on daily basis on our YouTube channel and Telegram channel. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and Telegram channel at the description link which we have provided. Okay, so yes, these were important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, Lukman IAS has come up with the test series program for ethics and polity paper, along with whole GS preparation, essay test series, and public administration optional subject. So to know more about the test series program, you can contact Lukman IAS. Thank you.